Greetings, everyone. Bob the Canadian here, back with your next installment of RompSteel's Quest in the Tournament. So I'm up against Lancer, who I haven't played before, but I watched a couple of the games that he played earlier in the tournament, and I have to tell you, I haven't laughed that hard watching a log before. It's never happened. He was against this guy called Lewis K, and they were both just so funny. They were just making jokes the whole time, and I was just genuinely just laughing out loud watching the logs by myself. So it was a good time. So anyway, I'm very much looking forward to the matches with Lancer here. So we talked about it. We decided to do with Treebeard, with cities, and with 2 tokens for free people for both the first 2 games. And then obviously for the third game, that's up to bidding. So yeah, I actually, he asked me a question which I'd never considered before. If you play with Treebeard and cities for the first 2 games, does that mean it has to apply to the third game? And I realized I don't actually know. I don't think we have a rule on that. I would presume that it probably carries on to the third game, but I think you should probably actually redecide before the third game, because now it's not guaranteed anymore. So I think as long as you redecide and you both agree before you start bidding and choose a side, I think it's fine either way. Okay, so anyway, for the first game, he tells me that as a higher seed, I get to pick which side I play first, which is probably right. I forgot there was a rule on that, actually. So anyway, I went with Free People's first because, I don't know, got to play Free People sometime. So I draw Círdan's ships and File of Galadriel. He has Shadow Lengthens and give it to us, all decent cards. So anyway, I said Fellowship okay. He says 0 eyes, and I roll that beautiful roll of Palantir, Muster, which is... I was this close to going to vent for victory points. I almost did it. But I decided it was a little bit too early to throw in the towel completely. So anyway, he musters Isengard, go to war, which makes sense. I pass. He brings in Saruman, which I hadn't thought about this. Was there a chance that I could get Gandalf the White this turn? No, there isn't, because I would need to... Actually, no, there is a slight chance. I would have to either draw a card that's a character card, and that would help. Yeah, so either way, I'd need to spend one of these Palantirs separating Gandalf, and then I would need to spend a ring on a muster die to turn it into a character die, and then play this Palantir on a character die, turning that character into Will of the West. Either way, absurdly low odds anyway. So I play File of Galadriel, and I cycle into Wizard Staff. So that card's the hoot. So he moves the Barad-dûr army to Gorgoroth and this army to Old Forest Road. Yeah. I play Wizard Staff here and redraw just because, I don't know, my thinking was it's going to be a slow game, so I'd like to redraw into character guards. Like, I'm hoping it's going to be a slow game. If I'm going to win, I need it to be a slow game. So I'm hoping that, maybe I get a character card like We Prove the Swifter, and maybe I can crown Aragorn next turn, and hopefully he rolls a bunch of eyes. So Wizard Staff, just helpful for the Fellowship surviving in the long run. Of course, it's a downside if it ends up getting in the way and making Gandalf the White later. So anyway, he tries to move into Old Forest, but I point out to him that... I'll be right back. Okay, but then I point out that he hasn't, in fact, actually put Sauron to war yet. So whoops. Okay, so he decided to move the army from Gorgoroth to Morannon instead. So I muster the elves down. That army comes out some more. And he moves some Saldrons to Mirharad. I muster the elves down again. And he plays his red tile. And I go ahead and use the token here to put the elves to war. So that might be a mistake. But, I'm seeing how, this army is already, doing an ooga booga and scaring me up here in Woodland Realm. But with the elves at war and Sauron not at war, that means, if I roll 2 musters next turn, I can muster and then he'll get Sauron to war, and then I can muster again and then he'll get into Old Forest Road. So I'm, there's a chance that all I'm doing is making it easier for him to get the Witch King, but there's a good chance also that I'm defending Woodland Realm very well. So I pick up Riders of Theoden, and There Is Another Way, both decent cards. So he gets to say 0 eyes again. And rolls 1 because I didn't move at all last turn. So maybe that's an argument. Maybe with that second Palantir, instead of playing Wizard Staff, maybe I should have used a ring to move instead. I don't know. But then I roll that. So that's great. Right, now he picks up cards. He gets Sealder's Bane and Pits of Mordor, both good cards. So I muster an elite in Woodland Realm to start. He thinks about it. He musters Sauron to war. I decide not to muster again here. Like, I could. But... I'm back again. Okay, right. I decided to only muster once in Woodland Realm because, well, once for now, anyway. I was thinking if he moves forward, then I'll muster again. Because I only have so many elves to muster, right? There's only 4 elites to put down, and I have Círdan's ships, and I have Lorien to maybe defend, and I'd rather use some of these to get moving with the Fellowship anyway. So I'm going to move at least once, know that for sure. Safe, not hit. So he plays Pits of Mordor. And he moves like that, which I was surprised by. I was really expecting him to come for Woodland Realm, but I guess he's deciding that once it's a 1/3/1 that it's just not that appetizing anymore. So he moves 4 orcs. He thinks about moving 4 orcs. He moves to Umbar instead. Okay, so out comes the Witch King. I move the Fellowship again, and I get hit, and now I play Wizard Staff. So this is certainly an argument for maybe I shouldn't have played Wizard Staff, because then I'd have gotten a hit, and anything but a 0 reveal, I could have killed Gandalf and got Gandalf the White this turn. So I think in hindsight, that probably was a mistake. I probably should have used a ring to move once instead of playing Wizard Staff. But I don't know. There's other worlds where playing Wizard Staff would have been a better choice. So then I move again, and I get missed this time. So that's fine. At least I did, get to move an extra time. If I'd been revealed there, then I would have taken 1 step less. So that's an argument for Wizard Staff anyway. And he besieges Minas Tirith, gets the neat run around the regulars there. Alternatively, he could have also besieged Helms Deep this turn. I think I would have been slightly more tempted by that, just because these armies haven't moved at all. And you're catching 1 regular instead of already like mostly full stronghold. But, if you're, going to make one of these places a mess, with Gondor, at least Corsairs is coming, so you might still get Dol Amroth. Or, and of course, if you're waiting for new powers rising, of course, that might help you clean out Rohan a little more efficiently. So, anyway. Okay, so I pick up Ensign Thranduil. Was very happy to see Thranduil at the time, because, that means when he steps forward, I can muster again, then he can besiege me, and then I can play Thranduil and have a full 5 units in there. So, I feel great. He gets Denethor's Folly and Black Captain Commands. Those are some nice draws. Yeah. I say Fellowship, okay. He allocates 1, rolls 1 more, and I roll 3 movement. So at least I'm picking up on movement a bit here since turn 1. Still would have liked to ideally have a W there, so I can, get Gandalf. So he draws a card. Interesting. He could have played Denethor's Folly there, or maybe held on to that to play Shadow Lengthens or Sealder's Bane. But drawing a card isn't terrible. Oh, I think he was hoping for a good one to play as a combat card. I think that's what he was hoping for. So he attacked Minas Tirith here. And I see him playing a strategy card, so I played Daylight, but he's playing Onslaught, so my Daylight isn't great against that. So he rolls 1 hit anyway. I roll 0 hits back. So he takes 4 hits on the Onslaught and only gets 1 hit with them. So that's bad luck anyway. You'd expect 2 anyway. So he presses. Draws another Onslaught. He could do it again, but he doesn't do it again. He gets 1 hit. I get 2 hits. So now the Witch King is with 4 regulars besieging 2 regulars. So that's okay. Like that's I think overall still a good deal for Shadow, but yeah, with that Onslaught there, not the most efficient. So now I'm in an interesting spot where Gondor's at war. So I could use my hybrid die to have the 2 regulars from Osgiliath attack Minas Tirith, and I certainly think about it. If I had, a confusion or leadership and a sudden strike, or a heroic death that wasn't There's Another Way, I think I'd have been more tempted. But just the fact that I have my cards don't help here at all. Yeah, doesn't feel great. Or if I had Help Unlooked For, I would play Help Unlooked For here, for sure. So that's part of why I use my token here. I use it to draw a strategy card, hoping for either Help Unlooked For or Confusion. Anyway, but I don't get them. I get a Sudden Strike instead, which is, it's not useless, but it's not quite useful, Okay, so the cavalry comes out, West Horondor and South Ithilien there. I move the Fellowship, and they get hit, and it's a 1 reveal. So That's a bit of a bummer. I'd rather have just, gotten a 3 to kill Gandalf 4. I decided to take the 1 corruption because, I'm going to be able to hide and move again. So even if Moria doesn't kill Gandalf, I can still probably kill him this turn. All right, so I take the 1 corruption and I draw a 2 reveal. So that's okay. I killed Gandalf for that. I'm reasonably at peace with my life. So he attacks Osgiliath from South Ithilien. No card, no card. He gets no hits. I get 1 hit. So he presses. I had to think for a bit here. I could still retreat to Lasarnak or Druiden Forest and still attack Minas Tirith and hopefully, bully the Witch King off and get to bolster Minas Tirith a little bit. But that's unlikely to succeed. I could also go to North Ithilien and then move to Morannon and force him to spend a muster die defending it right now. He could choose to not anyway. But that also seems meh, because where's the rest of my hope for a Free People's military win? It's not really that likely. So I decided to just run away to Pelargir and, hopefully make his life slightly more difficult that way. Okay, so I hide the Fellowship with the hybrid die. I'm thinking, yes, he could besiege Woodland Realm, and I can't muster it anymore this turn, but at least I'll have, Thranduil to play next turn, so... and it is only a 5-1 army, so that's not that strong. So he brings the 4 orcs out to sit on the Fellowship and reinforcements to the Witch King. I move again, and I'm safe on the original roll, but then the orcs get me. So, well played, orcs. So he draws a 3. I take a random, and it's Legolas. He thinks for a bit, ends up attacking Minas Tirith. No card. I play the Sudden Strike here because I'm about to have to chuck cards anyway. Might as well. It misses, though. So he gets 1 hit, and I get 0. So I move again, and he misses. So interestingly, 3 1s. So that could have been moving for the 5th or even the 6th time this turn, because 1s are always a miss. So that would have been really funny if that had happened under those specific circumstances anyway. But yeah, anyway, so he musters the Southrons and Easterlings down. House of the Stewards and guards the Citadel, which isn't actually that big of a deal because Minas Tirith it's conquered either way. But because there are no elites there, he can't press very easily. So the only real benefit of playing guards of the Citadel is that it might waste some of his time. So that's the hope anyway. I chuck House of the Stewards because unlikely I'm going to separate Boromir. Okay, so the Fellowship declares over there. He puts in 1 eye and rolls 2 more, and then 4 Palantir. So I'm very happy to see that. And I remember thinking to myself, this would be a great turn to roll Will of the West and get Gandalf. Ha! No, it's not. So anyway, what do I do first? Oh, right, I play Guards of the Citadel here first, just, in that hope of wasting an attack. Yeah, so he plays Shadows on the Misty Mountains. That makes sense. I move the Fellowship because, I'm thinking with 3 Palantirs, there's a chance that he's going to do something mean to me or might, have Ring Wraiths or Rod or something. And he did have Black Captain Command, so moving before he put a reroll on me is something anyway. And I'm safe. Then he plays a Sealder's Bane, draws a 2, so that is unpleasant for me anyway. So I said I was back because I had to be right back. And he said, so it was a Sealdur. I say fitting his corpse because he died in the lore anyway. It was somewhere nearby where Lorien would be later. So it's actually right around here where Sealdur died and his body laid in the Anduin. So I joked that his corpse crawled out to harass the Fellowship. Anyway, he attacks Minas Tirith, plays, I think it's the Desperate Battle here. I play no card and he gets his 3 hits. So bummer. My Guards of the Citadel didn't waste any dice, but maybe he wouldn't have bothered playing Desperate Battle if I hadn't. So that's some value I got out of it. I get 2 hits back. Not a big deal, really, but he draws Corsair, so that's neat. So he attacks Lorien, which, honestly, in hindsight, I maybe should have seen coming. Maybe I should have mustered Lorien ahead of time, because 4 orcs is enough to attack it. But I decide that, you know what? I have charge and I have valor, so let's throw it down, Tommy Brown. So I stick around for field battle, and I play Círdan's here, which, also in hindsight, I don't know, was probably a mistake. But I get my pre, and I get 1 hit. So it does, reduce the amount of dice he's rolling, which is a big deal. So he gets 1 hit. I get 2 hits. So now he's down to 1 orc. I have to pick how to take my casualties here anyway. I took the Elven regular because I'm specifically worried about the Elven force pool and having enough to actually use efficiently, So he doesn't press. I use a ring to move again here, which I'm not sure if that was the best idea or not. But right. So my thinking was, I have 4 dice next turn because I still don't have Gandalf. So the odds of getting 3 steps done are a lot less likely than getting 2 steps done. So that's why I chose to use a ring here, just to increase the odds of getting to Mordor next turn. And I'm quite lucky to not get hit there. So anyway, he does Shadow Lengthens here to bring the Dol Guldur army and the Shadows Gather army there to Dimril Dale. So that was well played by him. That's choosing the right moment to pounce after my early getting the Elves to war to still get a stronghold that's not too strong. So I get to put 1 more elite in Lorien, but now he gets to play Black Captain and besiege Lorien. So I was sad about that. That was well played. So I pick up there and back again and King Brand. He picks up Return to Valinor and Ringwraiths Abroad, both also great cards. So I naturally declare closer to Mordor. He allocates 1 eye and rolls 2 more. And I roll that gorgeous roll right there. That is like, maybe I could have wished for a muster to help with Dol Amroth. But even then, moving a 3rd time, it might be really useful for dodging cruel weather. So that might actually be the perfect roll to ask for. So I start off by moving because the Southrons and Easterlings aren't at war, so I don't have to be scared of Day Without Dawn right now. And I am somewhat scared of rerolls. Like Corruption, I'm up to 4, so it's something of an issue anyway. So I move, and I get hit, so that's a bummer. He draws a 3, I take a random, and it's Pippin. So I can move Pippin 2 regions away. So Southern Ravanian could maybe go up there for playing Book, but obviously Dew's not being attacked. So I could put him in East Emnet, Druiden Forest, or Osgiliath are the 3 real options. I end up putting him in Osgiliath because I'm thinking, I might have an extra character die, nothing to do this turn, so maybe he could walk over to Pelargir and be useful that way. But now I'm up to 6 corruption, so that kind of stinks. Anyway, he attacks Lorien. Deadly Strife against Shield Wall. He gets 4 hits, -1, 3. I get 3 hits back. So he presses, and he draws the 3rd Deadly Strife. So shuckle be darn. No card. He rolls 2 6s. I roll 2 hits back. He presses again. No card. He gets a 6. I get 1 more hit, but it doesn't really make a big difference. I move again because I'm thinking, just in case he had Cruel Weather, but forgot to play it, then, moving and getting hit and revealed now would mean that he can't Cruel Weather me this turn, so that's one thing I don't have to worry about. So he hits me twice, and it's a 0 reveal, which, I'm quite happy to be revealed into Minas Morgul, and it's an eye. So that's, I think that's actually, the result I would pick out of all of these options. Maybe getting hit with an eye that did 1 damage instead of the 0. That might be better. But yeah, no, this is quite pleasant. Okay, so he finishes mustering the Southrons and Easterlings to war. I bring in Gandalf the White. He plays Lur here, though, and draws Strider. And oof. Oh, that felt so bad. I remember thinking to myself, anyone but Strider would be fine. And then it's Strider and just... So it's 1 in 4. It's not that insanely unlikely. And I did get missed on a couple of hunts where I should have been hit. So I guess it's fair's fair anyway. But it didn't feel good. I kind of got to kill him here because if I go up to 9 corruption, not only can he play Candles of Corpses and that might kill me in 1 shot, but he can put 4 eyes in there next turn. And then if I hit an eye, then I'm, getting closer to dead every step. Like even after a 4-hour eye, even with killing Strider is still 1 corruption. If he rolls another eye, then I've got a serious problem now. So he moves the Southern army back to Umbar and moves those orcs down to deal with Pelargir. So now I know that he has Corsairs. Obviously he wouldn't move back down if he didn't have Corsairs. And not only did I not end up having time to muster up Dol Amroth like I thought I would, I also played Cure Dance for a combat card. So I feel a little bit stupid right now, I'm not going to lie. So he plays Corsairs, and he besieges Dol Amroth. And I hide the Fellowship because, especially now that Strider's gone, there is a chance he could use a ring and play Foul Thing or Orc Patrol and reveal me. It's a pretty low chance, though. So, and you got to use those character dice when you can, now that Strider's gone. So, Anyway, he attacks Dol Amroth naturally and plays a Deadly Strife, and he only gets 1 hit on 6 dice, so that's bad luck for sure. I get 2 hits back. So he presses, no card, and he gets no more hits again, and I get 1 hit back. And he presses again, no card, and he gets no more hits again. So that was asking, let's see, 6, 12, 18 dice for 3 6s. And the first 5 of them were 50-50. So that's very impressively bad luck. That's shocking. He says, see, the trick is to not hit. Those 2 guys don't know what didn't hit them. Anyway, okay, so I pick up Grimbeorn and another Ents card, so I'm pretty sure I chuck there and back again here. Just unlikely I'll be able to use a Brave Stand here. Yeah. Oh, I chucked Scouts, actually. Wow, that was a terrible choice. I am such a cotton-headed ninny-muggins. Man, I should have kept Scouts. Anyway, so we're off into Mordor at net 1 corruption. If I kill all of those companions efficiently. So I'm not feeling great about that. No Strider, a little ways away from Gollum still. But I do have There's Another Way and Mithril Coat in hand. And the hunt pool is okay. Like, it's a decent hunt pool. I've seen worse. I've seen better. So reasonably optimistic about my chances here anyway. But not great, though. So anyway, he forgets to allocate an eye, and he rolls that, which is 9 not eyes. So we look it up, and you have to pick from the right, so that hybrid die goes in as an eye. And I roll that. Perfectly great roll. Definitely not complaining about that roll at all. So I move because I'm thinking, like he has a character die and a ring. There's a chance he has more red tiles to add to the pool. So I go ahead and move. And it's a 1 reveal. So I take a random here because I really want to lose companions down to There's Another Way. Just in case next turn, like I really need to be able to use a Palantir to move. I'm hoping to dunk this turn and next turn because I have 2 rings to use. And with all this movement here, yeah, like especially with all these musters, I'm very worried for Rohan because I don't have much to help Rohan. And all he needs to do is take Dol Amroth, take Pelargir, and then dunk on Rohan, and then he's at 10 points. So, anyway. He uses Ring Racer Abroad to attack Dol Amroth. No card. He gets his 2 6s. I get 1. Yeah. So then we had a weird disconnect and reconnect. So it's going to be a little bit... Yeah, so I had the problem where to me it looked revealed, but to him the Fellowship looked hidden. So with this log, it looks hidden already. So that's good. Wait, but it's actually hidden right now. Okay, never mind. So you are seeing it from my perspective. So I decided to use this little shadow settlement marker here just as an extra reminder to myself of whether they're actually hidden or not. So when they're revealed like this, they're actually hidden. But if they're hidden and this token is on them, then they're actually revealed. Is how I decided to go with it. Okay, so he brings units out to attack with Pelargir. Like I could use a ring to attack Osgiliath to break out, but that's just super not worth a ring. So I just move the Fellowship again. And it's an eye. I'm okay with an eye. It's an efficient loss of Gimli. So that is a revealed Fellowship there. Although they look hidden, they have that settlement marker on there to remind us that they are, in fact, revealed at the moment. So he attacks Pelargir. No card. He gets 2 hits, and I get 3 hits. So I'm actually really bummed that he got those 2 hits, because with that epic 3-hit start there, if I had even a second guy here, he would have to stop and then attack from Lossarnak so as to not risk losing the Witch King. But as it is, obviously he can press because there's no sudden strikes when you have no leadership. So anyway, he miraculously gets no hits though, and I also don't get a hit. So that would have been epic if I'd gotten a hit there. So he presses, I stay. He gets a hit this time. I also get a hit, but it doesn't really make any difference. So I hide the Fellowship. That's me hiding the Fellowship. We can tell because the marker left, it's going and sitting in the ocean, and the Fellowship looks revealed but isn't. You'll also notice that the nations are unflipped because of the weird sinking in problem we had anyway. So he gets the mouth. I pass. He musters up in Orthanc. He musters up some more in Orthanc. And then he attacks Fords. I play Horn Dark here to try to protect these units here so that they can escape to Helm's Deep. I really, really, really should have kept scouts. I'm super mad that I just chucked scouts. I was not thinking there. Wow, that was bad. So anyway, he rolls a 6, so I'm bummed about that. But I get 2 hits back, so that helps anyway. So naturally he presses, and I retreat to Helm's Deep. He thinks for a while about whether to send the whole army or not, but he ends up sending it. So I have 2 choices here. I can, well, I guess more than 2, but 2 practically. I'm planning on winning next turn. That's the plan. Because I have There's Another Way, and I'll have a ring to spend right now and a ring to spend next turn. So I feel like I should be able to do it. And I'm, definitely worried that Rohan won't survive next turn. So I can either spend that ring to play Ent card right now and then play Mithril Coat and Sting, which improves my odds for next turn. Or I can spend that ring to just move. So it would, take his die away and make, fighting Uruk-hai not an option. So that would be nice. But I decide to just move because, I don't know, it just feels safer. It just feels more likely to win next turn if I move now. So I move, and it's a 3. So I'm, I think that's the 4th best tile there for me. Yeah, the 0R I think would have actually been the worst. Actually, well, no, the red would have been the worst. But 0R would have been the second worst. Then the eyes, then File, actually, because I specifically wanted to be down to Gollum so I could play There's Another Way with a Palantir if I had to. So I would have actually rather any of these 4 non-revealing tiles than File of Galadriel right now. Now that we're down to Gollum, now I'd be very happy to see File of Galadriel, of course. Okay, so he puts Helm's Deep under siege, of course. And we're on to the next turn. So I pick up, now Eomer shows up. Thanks so much, Eomer, just in time. Okay, so he picks up Palantir and King is Revealed, also both decent cards. He allocates 1 eye, and he rolls 2 more, and I roll. You excited? Are you excited? It's a pretty great roll. Just you wait. 3 musters and 2 hybrid dice. Yeah, very exciting stuff. Yeah, like I say, excuse me while I throw things, because literally anything else, and I would have had a good shot at winning this turn. Because, like, a Palantir, remember, the Fellowship is hidden right now. They look revealed, but the token's over here, so that means I'm actually hidden right now because of the weird flip. So, a Will of the West, or a character die to move with, or a Palantir that I could move with There's Another Way, as long as I don't hit an eye or a red, so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good tiles, 4 bad ones, then I could use a ring and move again and probably win this turn. But, alas. Nope. So anyway, the good news is that he rolled 2 eyes and he rolled 4 Palantir. So it's not that easy for him to close out this turn either. And I do have all these musters that I can try to make a problem for him in Rohan anyway. So I play... first I use a ring here because I'm worried that he has Fighting Uruk-hai, which is not what he picked up. But I'm thinking, if he has Fighting Uruk-hai, he could play that right now, and that will almost definitely get Helm's Deep and save this army the potential downgrade cost. So I decide to use a ring right off the start to play my Ent card and kill Saruman. Also takes away the leadership for those, so now he has to waste a die bringing all the Nazgul over, because I've seen Ring Racer Abroad and Black Captain go by already, so I know we can't do that for cheap. And then I played There's Another Way because, might as well move at least once and not take that 1 free corruption. So I get to heal 1 and move forward, and it's a 0. So I'm very happy about that, of course. So yeah, it's very tantalizing being 1 step away and just having no movement for it. There's Another Way anymore. There's no rings anymore, and there's just muster and hybrid dice. So anyway, he draws a character card. It's Balrog. That's useless. I play Eomer here because I can. I don't need Rohan to be at war. And I want to save these musters for after he's already put Rohan to war. I don't want to spend a muster putting Rohan to war because he's obviously going to attack Helm's Deep and do that for me. But yeah, Eomer here is still obviously very useful. Would have been better last turn for that elite and leadership to be inside the stronghold, but he's still useful in Edoras for sure. Okay, so Nazgul leadership comes... I guess he could have moved the mouth too. It still probably wouldn't have been in time to do anything, though. Now he attacks Helm's Deep. Or no, he changes his mind. He does not attack Helm's Deep. He draws more cards first. So yeah, there's your fighting Uruk-hai that would have been very useful if Saruman was still alive. So I make a mistake here. I play Thranduil just for the card redraw because I thought about the cards that are out there. There's a bunch of like no quarters, a couple daylights, and a couple confusions out there. So I was hoping for a combat card that would be better than Valor. Turns out I just got another Valor back. So, you'll see why that was kind of a mistake in a second. Anyway, he draws another card. Shadows Moving. That's a good card. And he chucks Fighting Uruk-hai. That's a reasonable choice. Yep. Oh no, he changes his mind. He probably chucked Durin's Bane instead. Yeah, because that's clearly less useful. So now he attacks Helm's Deep. So now Rohan's at war, and he plays a character card. So he plays Palantir. I say no card here because I feel like saving both these combat cards for with my better army is probably better, right? So anyway, so he gets one hit, which is a bummer. He expected his two. I think like he should have cracked that in one go, and I get one hit back. So that's very frustrating because not only does he take the hit from the regular, but now he has to take another hit to press to try to win this turn. So he presses again, draws into the Ring is Mine. No card. He gets the hit this time, and I get another hit back. So the Rohirrim, like for all the hits back that they could have potentially done, 2 out of 2 for Fords of Eisen, 2 out of 1 for the first round, and then 1 out of 1 for that. So far they're at 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5, potential 5 hits. So they are they're punching back well. They're doing good. We talked for a bit about how weird the stats are because of our weird load-in. It kind of loaded his twice anyway. So for the statistics, so these are flopped. So Free People rolled 132 combat dice to Shadows, 76. So other way around. So he's the one who's at -4 and 6s and +6 and 5s, and I'm at +1, -1 right now. So anyway, so now so now I have to muster a regular there and a regular there. Whereas if I hadn't used Thranduil's archers, I could have used a muster to just muster an Elite Natterus, which would be slightly better. Because, more hit points for, the big army that's defending together. And I'm also not providing him the opportunity to cycle even more cards. The reason I have to do it this way is because if I did just muster an elite there, then he could use his hybrid die to walk these 2 regulars to Vale of Karnan and this army out to West Emnet at the same time. And then I only have 1 die, which I now can't spend mustering in Edoras anymore because I need to move the elves out from Woodland Realm to Dale to defend it. So anyway, that's why I had to do it with the 2 regulars like this. So he attacks West Emnet. He plays Swarm of Bats here. I guess he was worried that I was going to Scouts away, which is a fair concern. I have 1 strategy card there. So he gets his 1 hit. I also get 1 hit back again now. So now I'm at 5 hits out of absolute maximum of 6 for just naturally rolled in Rohan there. So obviously I muster an elite and Edoras, and after thinking for a bit, he realizes it's just not that likely that he can win that fight because I've literally twice as many hit points as him, and I have the defensive advantage. Yes, he does have 1 Dread and Despair, but then after that, none of these combat cards help him. So, and also, of course, if you do, press for the unlikely chance at winning, then you're leaving Helm's Deep, not only would the Witch King and all this leadership die, but then you leave Helm's Deep open for a retake. So he ends up not attacking and playing the red pile instead, which, if I have another turn where I roll 0 movement, or if I roll only 1 movement and hit a red tile, then that's buying him time for these regulars to come up and win the fight, probably. Okay, so I pick up Great Company in Last Battle. He picks up Nazgul Strike and Ologhai. He allocates 1 eye and rolls no more, and I roll at least 2 movement this time. But you'll see he does have Day Without Dawn. So my choices right now are crucial. Remember, again, this fellowship is not revealed. There is no settlement marker on it. So it's actually hidden right now. From his perspective, it's actually hidden right here. So I certainly can't risk. I don't have any rings, so I can't risk just not moving at all this turn and letting him do what he wants with these, 8 attacking dice here. Or, well, mostly attacking dice anyway. So I move, and it's not a red tile. It's a 1. So, yeah. Sigh of relief there, because if it had been a red tile, then, well, either one of them would have revealed me, actually, so he wouldn't even have to play Day Without Dawn there. He might do it anyway, just for something to do with that Palantir. Anyway, so yeah, that's the game. So we, talked for a bit about it, about what to do. So yeah, there was, I was slightly tempted to maybe play Mithril and Sting first, just to, in case I did hit a red tile, but there's only 10 strategy cards left in the deck. The odds of him having Day Without Dawn were just too high for me to just ignore it like that. If I had a Will of the West and a character die, then I think I probably would have done it. But, yeah. Anyway, one last view at the stats. So yeah, -3 on 6s, +6 for him, -1 on character, +1 on wills. Overall, -1 on attacks for him, and yeah, about even on hits for me. So luck was pretty even. Like, it's a pretty close game. Yeah, it was a good one. Looking forward to game 2. See y'all next time.